Who is your dad? Alrighty guys, we are continuing our verse-by-verse study through the Gospel of Matthew, Matthew chapter 3. We're only going to do one verse, verse 9 today. And this is John the Baptist saying, and he's talking to the religious leaders of the day. And he just called them brood of vipers. You know, it's not being very nice. And he says to them, "And do not think to say to yourselves, 'We have Abraham as our father.' For I say to you that God is able to raise up children to Abraham from these stones." There's actually quite a bit in this little section here. They were, well, what are these stones? Well, Israel is full of a lot of rocks. It's a natural resource of Israel, you know? So many rocks. He could have been referring to any rocks that are on the ground. Or, check this out. Remember when the children of Israel, they're running from Egypt. They cross the Red Sea, and then years later, they finally get ready to cross in and take the Promised Land. And at this point, they cross over the Jordan River. And they were instructed when they were in the Jordan River to pull out 12 rocks from the river and put them on the bank to remind them of what, for generations to come, what God had done in protecting the nation. So John the Baptist, he's in the Jordan River. This could be what he's talking about. He could be referring to those 12 stones or any number of stones around here. But the point is, God is not held back by people. We like to think that, well, if I don't help God, you know, who's gonna do it? But the point is, God can work and raise up and use anybody. The question is, do you want to be a part of what God's doing? Do I want to be a part of what God's doing? If we do, if the answer is yes, then we need to be willing to submit ourselves to Him. We need to be willing to repent and to turn away from our sin and turn to Him. Now check this out. The whole beginning of the verse here, they were saying, "We have Abraham as our father." So commonly held concept in the day is that if you were Jewish, you would not go to hell. What can I say? I'm Jewish. That God would never send anyone who's Jewish to hell. So they looked at, of course I'm right with God because of my heritage, my father, my father's father, all the way back to Abraham. But here's the point, and how this verse has been ministering to me. You know, are you and are we defending our faith, our relationship with God based on our parents, based on our family heritage? Maybe your father was a pastor. Maybe your parents took you and drugged you to church every single Sunday. And so you say, of course, I'm right with God because of my parents. But the point of this is, and this is the point that John the Baptist is talking about, it's a relationship. It's a personal relationship. You and I are not held accountable with our relationship with God based on our parents. When you and I die, it's going to be a one-on-one before God and before me. And God's going to say, "What did you do with my son?" He's not going to ask you about who your parents were. So I guess the question today, the thing I want to leave you with is, where's your relationship with God right now? Do you have a personal relationship with God? And if not, you need to stop. You need to ask God, cry out to Him, "God, please come into my heart. I want you. I need you." This whole idea of repenting, it's turning from our sin, turning from our sinful life and turning to God. Does that mean we're never going to sin again? Of course not. We're always going to sin. But here's a check for you, a little way to test. When you go ahead and do something sinful, do you have a heart check? Do you feel convicted? If you do, that's good. Now, next time when you come to this temptation point and you feel that heart check, that's when you need to say, cry out to God, God, I can't do this on my own. I need you. I need your strength. Help me through this temptation. I sure love you guys.